Roxy Soxy.
Ooh, that's a doozy. Good afternoon, Tab Tab.
I know. Afternoons when we're in quarantine because that's the time that we don't have to look after our children. We can just put them in the TV.
Yes, it's all about that. It's all about that. And today I am super excited because we have one of my college gal pals here.
Back for a second time around.
Back for a second time. We didn't scare her off the first time, so she's back. She's back.
There's nothing else to do.
All right. Miss Sasha Alexander.
Woo! Hi, guys.
You're back, girl. You're
I have
back.
so much to do right now, Tammin, by the way. You want me to give you a list of the things I have to do? I've got laundry waiting. I've got ironing. I got to do a project for my, kids.
Well, nothing's fun
school.
to do. What do I say? Like,
Yes.
it's hard. It's hard.
It's just basic
Crazy.
1950s housewife. That's what we all are now. 1950s housewife.
It's crazy. By the way, I really want that lipstick, Tammin. What's that lipstick? You're wearing it too, Roxy. You both got some red on.
Ooh.
I
didn't get the
pants
memo.
on and
I
my
need
red
some
lipstick
red.
because you can't see me
I need
below my
some
waist.
red.
It's called Rouge Noir, which is like what I was before quarantine.
And by the way, a little lipstick does sort of help us feel a little bit more alive, doesn't it? I feel like we need a little zhuzh.
We need a little pick-me-up.
Just walk around with pajamas and a red lipstick.
I looked in the mirror the other day and I was like, what has happened to my face? Like, I thought that not putting on makeup and being quarantined would be a good thing for my body and my face, but I look like I've aged like 10 years.
I totally hear you.
It's 24/7 kids and then all the snacks and shit we're eating.
I don't think that helps. I definitely don't because we're not I just started. I think I had week 1, I was in shock. Week 2, I went into like a weird kind of discombobulated confusion of like getting through the day and being like, okay, I have to get this under control.
Yeah.
Week 3, I was depressed. I have to say, I hit this like
that's when it hit me too.
Of whoa, what's going on? And I don't feel good. I don't feel good. Like what's happening. And now this week, I'm like, I washed my hair.
Acceptance.
Put on some blush. I got up. I'm putting on clothes. I'm like, I'm gonna not pajamas. I'm actually like changing to work out and then changing out of my workout clothes and actually trying to work out now. And so, it's been intense.
Mm-hmm. So, it's like you go through the 7 stages of like grieving almost, it's like you're going through now you're finally where I feel like I am too is like acceptance. Like we're just fucking dealing with it. Right. Yeah. Where you are too, Tammin. But have you wanted to kill your husband or kids yet? Like I have. Are you there yet?
I have a couple texts with different friends and moms that are all going through, they all have their moments of when that day hits that you just really want to strangle somebody in the house. It's interesting. We had this year, I think when we talked last, my husband was in Italy. Eduardo was in Italy most of the year making a film. So we were together in the summer and then all the fall he was gone. We saw him for 2 weeks of Christmas. And he was away. And so now all of a sudden we're reconnecting. And that's been fun. Like we're really happy to have him home. I know, look at you guys. Immediately to reconnect.
I'm like,
he wasn't
sexy time in quarantine.
There was
yay for Sasha.
All night long.
I really wish it was this, but it wasn't because he was in quarantine. So he came back from Italy. So we were like, please don't touch us. But we were so happy to have you here. But now we're getting into sexy time again. Now we're sort of feeling like, okay, we're here. How are we going to make this work?
I keep on with my husband and putting on Boys to Men all day. So every day it's like, you wake up at 9 a.m. and it'll be like, I'll make love to you. And he's like, I can't stand you anymore. And it's like, where did we go wrong? Like,
so see, all you have to do is serenade him, Sasha. That's it. Serenade him.
You know what? That won't do it for him. My voice is, I don't have a good voice. And he has such a good voice and he so appreciates people with good voices. That is not the glue between us. Like, I think my voice will turn him off. Like, I can't. I can dance.
Okay, TikTok.
I can do, if I dance, like if I TikTok it, he'll be like, but oh my goodness, my voice is definitely not the thing. But no, you know what? I think that to answer your question, there have definitely been moments. I think that what I'm feeling myself, and I feel like a lot of women are feeling, is that we do a lot. Like, I know where everything is in the house. I know, like, he asked me where everything is. Like, where's the extension cord? Where's the glue for this? Or how does this, all the time? And that is like, wait a minute, how do I know where everything is? So now it's like the laundry, the cleaning, I have now handed off a lot of my son's, homework stuff and been like, you got to handle this. But in the beginning, he's working remotely and everything fell on me to kind of do it all. And I think that was kind of really overwhelming. I mean, I've never cooked so much. I love to cook, but
oh my God,
lunches, dinners, breakfast. I was like, you got to take over. I got to not do that first thing. I've got to be able to have a cup of coffee. And so it's, that's been challenging. And then I have a teenage girl.
Yeah, God.
Who's actually been really pleasant, surprisingly enough. I was more concerned about her, and she's doing really well. She's mellow.
Yeah, because Cameron and I were talking about that. We're like, is it better to have young kids like we have in quarantine, or to have an older teenager?
Yeah, exactly.
And so we're trying to we're like, what's better?
I don't know, you guys. I mean, in some ways, I feel like you have the better end simply because your children are so happy to have you home. And to just be with them. And truthfully, they take less. I think it's harder on you guys, but I think for them, it's easier because you're home and there's no distraction. And, I think when they get older, what's hard with the teenager is that this is a moment in their life when they really want to separate from family and spend less time with us. Right. And now they're being forced with us. And it kind of sucks. I mean, they want to be with their friends and they want to be talking and doing their stuff. And luckily they have their phones and they have this way of communicating. But still, for them, this is really it's tough. I feel for her. We've definitely extended our rules and our limits for allowing her a little bit more space to feel like she can make her day, So
it's weird because my husband and I have actually been enjoying the quarantine because we work so much that you're passing ships in the night all the time. Yeah. And this has kind of forced us to connect and work through issues that we have and be with our kids and not be on our phones all the time. Yeah. So it was actually such a wonderful experience for the first couple of weeks. But then I was like, I am craving human connection and being driven by life and the world and color and smells and tastes and people. And when you take that away so fast, it is such a shock to the system and you do have to catch up. So yeah, when you were saying the third week, I think it's just the reality sets in that this is not going to be over for quite a while. That's what got to me,
I agree. I mean, I don't know what people are saying. I totally hear you. I do. And I do think that's why I really did enter this week with a clear sort of, idea and a meditation just for me of I need to connect. And that's why speaking to you guys and reaching out, I've been reaching out to a lot of friends overseas who truthfully are having a much harder time than we are. Not only did they get hit really hard in Spain and Italy and some other places, but also they're locked in their homes. They can't even take a walk or go, everything is a lot more difficult there. And that's really made me kind of think a lot about, our situation. And I also get sad because sad and grateful about all the people that are out there working around the clock. If you think of nurses and doctors and everybody else in the medical field, I mean, they're not seeing their children. I don't know how they're doing it. And then I think of them and I'm humbled beyond belief. But that said, I understand. I think that this is bringing out a lot of feelings for a lot of people.
Yeah. Do you ever feel do you feel overwhelmed with it? Like, does it ever get to be too much? Like listening to the news and the press conferences and like being stuck at home. Does that ever get too much? Like, and what do you do to like kind of deal with that?
I stopped watching it. I
Yeah,
really
same.
did. I mean, I really like Chris Cuomo, and I like, there's some people that I like, so maybe before bed, I'll look at it for 20 minutes or so. Truthfully, I will look in the morning at just kind of updates, and I'll hit the sites that I'm interested in, and the top news, but I don't sit there and like keep watching it. I've had to turn that off. And I think what everyone's doing, focusing a little bit more inward and being present in what we're going through and the stuff we have to accomplish every day, and keeping our head above water. Because I think it can be, it's very overwhelming to hear of everybody's ideas and thoughts on it, and who's pointing fingers at who, and also all the politics mixed in with that is like crazy making. I can't follow it all. It's really tough.
It's awful.
So so you guys have homeschooling, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're the designated teacher, or your husband, or do you split it up? Like, how does it work in your household?
Yeah.
Well, the first 2 weeks were very difficult. My daughter's school was amazing, but she's in 8th grade, and she hopped on there. They had trained the kids like the week before it started at school. They were really on top of it. So for her, it was seamless. I think for her, she just started getting headaches because of the blue light, even though it was off the computer. So I just got her some glasses for that. That's helping. But my son is in 3rd grade. Like, they don't use a ton of computers. He doesn't know how to go on Zoom and go from class to class. And so that was really a lot for all the parents to navigate. Like, I was basically sitting with him all day. And that was a lot. But then he got the hang of it. And I think that it's been a really good time to teach our children how to be resilient and to take care of themselves too. Yours are still young, so it's unfair. But mine are at an age where it's like, you get up, you make your bed, you brush your teeth, you do your stuff, like all the things that I kind of let them slide on before because they had to rush out the door to the bus, or they had to get to school, or they had homework or activities. Now I'm like, no, you're home and you're going to be part of the family. And these are things that you're going to do. These are things we do as a family, and we help each other out because I can't do everything. So he now is learning to kind of like manage his space better, to keep his homework neat, to all the things that I think he's 9, he just turned 9. But he's learning things that he did not learn before, which is very tough. And it was very overwhelming for him. So we help him out. We're kind of here on call. We can now leave the room and he teaches, but we do have to keep on him with like what homework is due, what projects are due. Kind of like keep pushing him to do it because, you know, so, but it's better. It's better.
So what does that kind of a day, because now we've had to all restructure our whole lives, essentially, the schedules, work, family time, everything. What does a day look like in your house now? Like with the homeschooling and cooking, and it's like, do you guys have like an equal division of labor between the two of you? Or is it like more like you're doing more of the stuff? Like how's that?
You know, I realized that because I was raised with a single mom. And so like she was like the super homemaker and she did stuff. She never really would kind of stop and teach me how to do all these things. So I learned them by default when I got a family. Like all of a sudden I was learning to do it all. But I realized that I did not know how to make my family contribute to do those things. Even though my children, I'm like a neat freak and I want them to keep things organized and neat. My daughter was great at it, but now we're talking about deep cleaning. We're talking about like, talking about like, you know, our bathrooms clean, like everything. And so can't spend all day, every day doing that. I can't clean up after them if they don't pick up their stuff. Like everybody should take their stuff. Like now they clean the table and they set the table and they put the stuff in the dishwasher. Like now we've designated how everyone is going to contribute. And one of the things I did went online and I looked at some people that were talking about how to do this. And I just came up with a plan. And one of the things that worked for us was asking everybody what really they wouldn't mind, what they would mind doing the least. Like what things, these are the things that need, I made a list. These are the things that need to get done. And I can't do them all. What are the things you would mind doing the least? And everyone kind of chose stuff. and the kids are just in charge of their room. Like, I don't think my daughter's old enough to be doing laundry, but I don't think that I'm not going to ask them to be cleaning like the floors, but I am asking them to keep their stuff neat and tidy. But I do think that it's tough to come up with that plan. Like, some people are really good at that. Maybe their moms taught them that, but I didn't quite know how to like get everyone involved in doing that. I don't know. Are you guys? Did you
Well, you
guys
realize
know? I mean, your kids are so little, but
my husband had a single mom as well. So like he does everything. Well, he does a lot in our house. Like he does all the laundry. He does all the cleaning because he's obsessed with cleaning. And I almost think it's like an OCD thing. And I'm actually okay with it in this situation. Like in general, I'm like, you need to get some help. Like you need to like figure that shit out and like deal with your past. But now I'm like, all for it, be OCD.
Oh, I love it.
So every weekend, but now we've pitched in because we realize it's really not fair to just like hand him everything, even though he does love to clean. So on the weekends, we realize if we do deep cleaning on the weekends, it sets us up for the entire week. So because we're not going anywhere other than a short drive to a secluded park and then like freak out and come home. So like we cleaned the floors last weekend, like deep cleaned the floors. And so this weekend, we're going to do the walls, like actually like, and it's funny because we've had a housekeeper once a week and you don't realize how much they do and how much you don't do.
Much.
And I was like, how do I clean a toilet? Like I've had no idea how to clean a toilet, but now I figured it out. And it's like, and then it's empowering in some way. Like we've offloaded so many jobs, which I feel like we should. It's because we are doing other things to like careers and whatever. But I do think we should know how to do these basic, simple tasks. And quarantine has forced us to do that.
Yeah, you know, I think I agree with you. I know, I just agree with you. I really do. And I have to say that my husband's also a total neat freak, but he has like designated areas. Like he loves to clean the kitchen, like hyper clean the kitchen. But then it's like you go into other areas and he just like won't touch it. And so it was funny to kind of see how that worked. But I have to say as well, like I've been very grateful that he actually, the things that he didn't know how to do, he's learning how to do. And I think I do think it opens your eyes to all the stuff that we've sort of pushed aside. Not that we have to do it when you're doing your career. It's hard to do everything. Right. But I think you can find a pleasure in taking care of your stuff. There is a Marie Kondo kind of mentality of like, all of a sudden I'm cleaning and I'm like, oh, I have that thing. What's this thing? Why is it here? Do we need this? Do we not want this? Like, and sort of you start to cleanse. And I think that's a very therapeutic way to look at it. I've been kind of trying to do that and not trying to also spend like a full day cleaning, but like a couple of hours. Like I'm going to hit this today, this tomorrow. And that way I don't feel like my whole day was taken up doing it. I don't know. Everyone's different.
Yeah, doing little bits. But I mean, I think too, getting your kids excited about it is also really good and making them feel like they're part of a team. Like we kind of tell our daughter, we're like, okay, this is our team. This is like Team Manning. We're like all coming together. We're all going to like work towards like getting EXO done.
And when that's a young kid thing, stop doing that.
They're like,
I think around 8, they're like, really? Seriously? I'm not doing that. Like, no. If I try to say like, no, it's really fun. We're all going to get to know I'm going to show you like pencil, and it does a swirly thing. We're going to figure it out.
No, you're right. But I was going to say, when all else fails, it's bribery, and we're like, okay, you can make like 25 cents. Well, I think with your kids, Sash, they end up more. Yeah, exactly. It's all about the money. We're like, okay, you can get this, you can get this, you can watch a movie. It's all about bribery, isn't
it? Food. Everything's food or a brownie. I'm like, I've given my kids 26 brownies, but we have a 1-year-old. So now I'm like, we have to use her as childcare. So we're like, Phoenix, you will get their 3rd brownie for the day. If you could just look after your sister Lennon for 1 hour while she's in the playpen and mommy can just like pee on by herself, then you get another brownie.
Oh, my pee on herself. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, those were the days. I mean, I definitely have been trying to bribe them with food in the sense of like making things that they love and they're excited about. It makes the house cozy. It's fun. But I also think they get happy about it. Like my daughter, I made her this like blueberry tart that I make it twice a year, but I knew that she would be happy and And making her that, I kind of like, I did earn points like through the next day.
Right.
I'm like, come on, I made a blueberry tart. Like, you can dust that table. It's nothing. Look at that. Here's the rag. Here's the thing. Just dust it.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this. No one's ever going to question a stay-at-home parent ever again, or a single parent, or people that like, you know, are really, really making all this shit happen. I mean, kudos to them, you know?
I agree. I agree. I also did discover happily that my housekeeper does an amazing job. Like when you get the corners and stuff, some of my friends are like, I'm realizing she doesn't do anything. And I was super happy that I did think that she really did hit stuff. Like it hasn't been, it's not that, listen, I think it's important for us to connect to the things that become part of the way we live. It helps us look at how we live. Not even if we're alone, we look at our stuff, or if we're with a family, we start to sort of look at, our habits. And I think that it's a good time to teach our children just how to like do this. I mean, they're watching us by example. And I think that's been a thing that's helped me get out of maybe the depressive part of this situation is taking it as an opportunity to teach our kids and take this time to be together, to connect, and to teach our children by example what it means to go through something that is really challenging. I mean, I can't tell my daughter that it's not really sad that she doesn't get to see her friends and that she's not going to finish the year and get her 8th grade graduation ceremony she was looking forward to, and all the things that, her dance competition she worked for all year, everything's canceled. I mean, I can't tell her that's not sad. It is sad. It's sad for all of us. And so I think that even just by listening to them and giving them the opportunity to express how they're feeling, helps us in our relationships with them. Like you guys will see when they get older, it's just hard. Everything is an opportunity to teach them something that they can take with them into their adulthood. And I'm at that right now. So in some ways, I'm just trying to do that, lead by example, try to be positive and pull it together, not look like a mess every day, and try to be like, Mom got up, look, I'm up, I'm going, let's do it,
I think we should also check in with our housekeepers, because it's funny because I checked in with our nanny / housekeeper, and she's really struggling. She's really struggling with her own depression and anxiety, because she's never had anything like this. And for her, going to different families, because she's part-time with us, gave her such a sense of joy, and now she's lost all of it. So yeah, whatever we can do to like make sure that if there's nannies out there who see your kids, like to just check in with them and see how they're doing.
I agree with you. I think it's super important to check in with people right now, because I do think that it's something that just it's hitting everybody in such different ways, and we need to check in. Absolutely, I agree with you. We have so many people that are involved in our life that help us so much. That same thing. We've just sort of said, hey, we're there for you, and any way we can be, and we'll just continue on. And when this all goes over, we'll refine it, refine each other. But yeah, we're doing the same. Yeah. It's important.
Are you explaining to your kids, like, I mean, your older daughter probably is very aware of what's going on, but like for your son, are you kind of taking him through what's going on like in the world right now? Like as far as like the virus and, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, he's old enough to understand that what this happened and how it started and what it means and how it hits people. So yeah, I mean, they're old enough to understand. And also I feel like it's really hard because they have to practice social distancing with their friends moving forward. They had to for even a couple of weeks. Like it was like school was over, and it was so shocking to them. And now if we do go out, rarely, they have to wear a mask. So they have to understand what it means. We also have, my mom, their grandma lives nearby, and she's the only person that we have been, seeing through the quarantine. And she doesn't see anybody. And we told them, like, you have to be careful so that grandma doesn't get sick. So I think they have to understand what that is. And in fact, when she comes over, they don't hug and kiss her. They're not like engaged. We're keeping a distance, but we're, being cautious. So we do tell them.
Are you scared? Are you scared? Like, do you feel fear? I mean, just about I mean, I think what I mean by that question is I don't really think about my family contracting it because you just keep yourself busy and you're worried about the cooking and the homeschooling and the cleaning.
Yeah.
But does it ever keep you up at night? Like, what if this affected my family?
Yeah.
I've had moments of it, very, very brief. The only reason I feel like I'm a bit more optimistic is because I have friends that have lived in China and in Hong Kong, and they have gone through things like this, like SARS and other things that has hit there, and they've had to do this, not at this extreme level, but kind of. And so they've gotten through it. Like we will get through it. So I feel in my mind, I have other things that I panic about. I panic about earthquakes. I panic about other things that are totally without any warning. I panic about a lot of other stuff. But, you know, I'm more scared and angry that we live in a world that is so technologically advanced. And yet when this happened, it took us months to figure it out. Like, I don't understand how people didn't listen. I don't understand how the information, and I'm not putting any blame on a specific, I'm simply saying, how did we not get to a place that we were starting this process earlier? I genuinely am more angry at the system in which sometimes our world fails us. And that upsets me because I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like everywhere in the world, we're all connected now in the way that we all want the same things. We all want security, we want safety for our families, and we want health. And if anything, this has brought us closer in seeing that we are truly globally connected because we're on planes together. We live in a very global and international world, and that connects us. And so we're responsible for each other. So if one country is making decisions about things, it might affect everybody else. And so I'm not scared that we're not going to move through this. I'm more curious about how we're going to move through it, and will people take from this the positives and make the changes that we need to moving forward, instead of like, are they just going to jump back into the madness of how it was and then this happens again, or we get, you know, God forbid we get a second wave at some point. That scares me.
Like the flu pandemic. And, you know, that's what happened. It was 3 waves.
Right. So and if we're not smart about it, that scares me. Because then all of a sudden we're going into an really extended period of time that is totally out of our control. And that to me that's scary.
It is scary. And talk about scary. I mean, even just stepping out of your house these days, you know, to be in a face mask and everything. Have you been going to like the grocery store to pick up essentials and things like that? And if so, like, what is your process with that?
No, we've just, you know what, we've taken turns. I have gone a few times, but I just wear a mask and gloves, and the grocery stores are being really careful. Everybody's 6 feet apart. There's not a lot of people. Also, a lot of the local places around our house, a lot of the restaurants are all having these like farmers markets now. So if you go in and you just order online, all the produce that you want, you just go pick it up in a box. They put it in your car and you're done. So for us, I have to say it's been relatively, not horrible, but it's unpleasant. I mean, nobody wants to go grocery shopping with a mask and gloves. And I don't see that changing in the near future. I don't think that we're just going to be like, hey, here we go. Right. And I do think that there's big changes to be had. And I don't know what that looks like. I'm trying not to psych myself out with thinking about that too far in advance, because I don't know. I don't want to say it scares me, but it really like makes me uncomfortable in a way that I'd rather not get there just yet, because we are resilient as a species and we will find a way. I just hope that we can trust the people who are in the higher ups to do the right things and to guide us in the way that we need to, not, be making up stories and BS just based on their own agenda and politics. Like that kind of freaks me out.
Do you worry about what work is going to look like after this is over? What it means for the entertainment business?
Yeah, I do. And I think it's amazing what you guys are doing, because if you continue to just do this and keep talking to people, I think people want to be connecting and seeing people and having conversations, and
Mhm.
people and other women who are going through, what we're all going through differently, but still together.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have no idea how, and I've spoken to a few people in the entertainment business. I
Mhm.
think it's really difficult, because I think that, in production, we know that you're close to hundreds and hundreds of people,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and you're in each other's faces. And there's no, you, not only is there no way to kind of control that, but another big thing in Hollywood that always surprised my family is that, like, even if I was sick, I had to go to work.
Of course. I
Yeah.
vomited in a bag.
Yeah.
I was
Like, you were
vomiting. Yeah.
punished if you didn't go to work. Like, I've gone
Yeah.
to work with fevers and all sorts of things, and it was kind of like, well, too bad, that's
Yeah.
your face. We just like put the makeup on it and make her go. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be like
Yeah. I
how
think
it
that's
is.
all going to change. Yeah. Because people are like, stay the fuck home if you're sick, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Right?
and I think that we also in our country don't have things in place to compensate for this. Like, we don't get paid
Mhm.
if we don't show up, and
mhm.
we don't get. So
Right.
I'm a
Although there's gonna be a lot of
Mhm.
need for content, because at some point, whatever's digital, which is what everyone is consuming, there is there is no more. So once this is over, I feel like there's gonna be a desperate need for shows and digital content and films, because no one's been making movies, no one's been
Mhm.
creating TV shows. So I do
Mhm.
think it's not gonna be soon, but when we're out of this, I think there's gonna be a mad dash, and I do think the economy is going to really benefit from everyone needing content out there. And I think we
Mhm.
will as well.
I hope
Yeah.
so. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you're right. Of course, everybody will, but there was a lot of stuff that they started this year and just didn't get made. I mean, the productions had to
Mhm.
stop. So, yeah, I do. I mean, I do think that we'll get there. It's just a question of when. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm very hopeful. I hope that's
Mhm.
the case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're all going through this together right now, going through the quarantine, but what are some of the best coping strategies that you have for keeping your relationship strong? Like, do you have like a good
I
way to
mean,
keep it solid?
Do you fight?
Secrets, fight, maybe
oh
fight and
yeah,
have
of course,
sex.
everybody fights.
Yeah.
Everybody hurts.
Everybody hurts. Everybody fights. Um,
Right?
You know, I I'm really lucky that I married. I think we talked about this before. I married
Uh-huh.
somebody that I get along with. We just
Right.
fundamentally we get along, and he is really. And this is something that you know I'm definitely am very grateful for during this quarantine time. Is I'm married to somebody that the glass is always half full.
Mhm.
Even when we first started dating, I remember thinking that he was just like way too like a happy person, and I
Mhm.
was not. I mean, not that I wasn't, but I just was. I definitely was more
Yeah.
complicated, and I was more moody, and I was more of a more complicated in that way, and he wasn't. And I had to adjust, and I learned
Mhm.
to adjust to wake up differently. And I think
Mm.
that was a habit of mine. I don't think it was part of my character. I actually just
Mhm.
think that I was somebody who I think a lot. And, if something bothers me, I'm very sensitive. So I'm married to somebody who wakes up and he kind of goes. He
Yeah.
like
Same.
you figure it out and you do it. And I
Mhm.
think I'm really grateful for that, because I think that to have a person with that kind of personality around just in
Mhm.
genuine, like, makes things more fun. He
Mhm.
has a sense of humor. We're always laughing. We have dance parties.
Mhm.
He was making the kids laugh so hard the other night just by doing these faces of like just making fun. My son was like started to like cry about something, and he's, whatever. I mean, they're having their moments, right? And the
Right.
way he handled it ended up just in like a laugh party. I mean, we were just all truly laughing together.
Mhm.
And I think that really helps a lot. I think that
Mhm.
I've been, like I said, enjoying cooking. We have family meals
Mhm.
together. Um, we are exploring eating and doing things in different parts of the house. Like, we never
Mhm.
use our dining room, like our actual formal dining room, not formal, but it's. And now we sit there all the time for dinner. And I really set the table, and I use all of our nice linens, and I like pull out things that I don't use all the time, or maybe pull out on special occasions now to just make it pretty. I light candles. I set a mood so that we feel like we're moving through different parts of our day. Not every night, but like a few nights a week. So that helps. We've taken walks as a family. We go, doing stuff in the afternoon, try to get some fresh air. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you watching Tiger King?
We watched Tiger King.
We shot our movie in his bar. The movie that my husband and I, So he pulled a gun on my husband. So we shot Wailing, which is coming out on the 24th of April this month. It was supposed to be in theaters, but now it's whatever. But it'll be in Netflix.
Congrats.
And you see his bar that we shoot in. And I remember he like came up and he was like, "What are you effing doing here?" And we like freaked out, and he pulled his gun on us. And I was like, that is the craziest guy I have ever seen or met. And it's him, the Tiger King. That is not what bums me out. What bums me out is my husband almost had the rights to that story. And we got so busy that we're like, it'll never do anything. It's the biggest thing that's out there. I would be falling down.
I do think that the creators, the directors did an amazing job of like piecing these things together. Listen, he is such a character that I was shocked. And I also find, Carole Baskin just to be.
Yes. Do you think she killed her husband? Do you think she killed her husband?
I'm always of the mind where there's smoke, there's a fire. I have to say that, like, it's just a little odd that this man disappeared 2 months after people around him knew that he was going to leave her.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Tiger, I don't know. Now, on the other side of that, I will say I did think it was weird that the guy was always going to Costa Rica, and that he said, "Oh, if I pull this thing off, then whatever." So I'm not against the idea that this guy was just trying to bail and then something happened. But then wouldn't he bail with his money?
You would think, unless he was totally caught off guard, right?
It's like he had more money than anybody knows. And he took that and he left her what he left her, and he just went, "See ya all," and he took off.
That kind of makes me better. I don't know. I kind of believe that story more. It's like, it takes a lot for someone to kill
a
person. You know what I mean? Like, it's a really horrific soul to do something that bad and just to continue with their lives.
I agree. And I don't know how she would have done it without an accomplice, like somebody to help her. The other thing too, though, that was weird was every time in the interviews when she would talk about him, she had a smile on her face.
I know.
And she was like, "How did I kill him? I don't know what happened to him." She was like laughing. And I'm like, "Lady, you're on the news and they're asking you about your dead husband. Why are you smiling?" It was a little odd. I mean, that was the only thing that I just kind of found it odd. But that said, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a little bit of both. I don't know.
It's a little bit, you know what? But speaking of Netflix, somebody has a movie coming out on Netflix. Miss Dangerous Lies. Hi.
It was Windfall, and now it's Dangerous Lies. They changed the title. And
do you know why? It's because you need a B. No. Because they need to. Because if it was Windfall, it's too low at the bottom of the Netflix. Just to let you know. So that's why it has to be when they search it. It's better for the film if it's an A, B, C, D, or E. Just found this out. Just giving you some info. You can continue your story.
Wow,
but that's the reason.
I did not know that. Yeah, April 30th. We're going to drop the trailer on Monday. It's a really cool thriller with Cami Mendez, who you know from Camilla from Riverdale, and Jesse Usher from The Boys, and from
Jamie Chung and Kim Gadget. Yeah,
everybody's really cool. So it was really fun. It was a really fun script, and I'm excited to see it.
So what went on set? Like, anything fun like go down while you guys were filming?
We shot it in Vancouver. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, beautiful time of year. It was last May and June. And it was a great cast. We had a really good time. We had a lot of laughs, I mean, what's fun about mysteries is that you can kind of mess with people because my character is the detective, and she's pretty sassy, and there's a fun relationship between her and Cammie's character because she's trying to school her a little bit. Like she's worried for her safety, and so she's kind of playing big sister to her. So you can have fun with that. I liked it. Even though I've been on a lot of procedurals, I've actually never played a detective, believe it or not.
Oh,
People
okay.
assume I have, but I've never played a detective. So I enjoyed it, actually. It was fun. It was fun. Great director, Michael Scott. We had a really good time.
Yeah, it was a good
really
one.
good time. Yeah.
Well, Roxy Soxy, should we do Never Have I Ever and then let Sasha
Yes,
go
let's
back to
do
her life?
We've got a Never Have I Ever quarantine edition for you, Sasha.
Okay.
You're like, I'm sweating. My pits are sweating.
Never have I ever not put on a bra for 2 days in quarantine.
Yeah.
Duh.
Do I answer yes or no?
So if you haven't done, meaning if you let your boobs go free, then you have, right? Roxy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. They've been flying free.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like mine are sagging so low because of this quarantine. I'm just like, they're just going down.
Actually, the problem with not wearing one is I get a pain. I get a pain under my breast because you sleep that way without it, and then there's nothing supporting in the day, and then they just start to hurt a little bit.
Yeah, they're just all over the place. Yeah. Never have I ever not showered for more than 2 days in quarantine. Right? I mean, it's all about conserving water, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's exactly why.
We're very environmentally aware.
How long can I go till I stink?
I know.
That's the question.
Do we smell ourselves? Like, does our smell?
I smell myself. Yeah.
Oh, I totally do.
I can smell myself.
Like, I totally do. Like the moment that I'm like, okay, I smell like I've been like on a bus somewhere in Eastern Europe for time to go.
I'm letting my underarms grow because I'm like, I've never done it. And I just kind of am embracing my feminist side. And I'm just
You're so on trend,
I am. It's all the people are doing it. All the young kids are doing it. I just let it grow. It stops at some point. It's kind of like that, you know.
It tickles though. I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it. Although I'm not being very kind to my legs, by the way. My legs are definitely
forget it.
Or the vajay. The vajay, I always say it's the one long strand and everything's all
I'm great and fine.
Yeah, I know. Or Samantha's really long. And I don't want to pull Samantha out because I feel like that's a lot of effort. You know what I mean? Like commitment for her to have grown so long. It's at least a 3-year commitment.
Let her grow.
Let her grow. Let her be. Let her be free. You guys are 70s, vintage gals.
My husband's in that vicinity. He's lucky anyway. And he's just gonna have to ignore Samantha. Okay. Never have I ever farted in front of my husband in quarantine. I just don't care because you're just quarantined.
Duh. Like how many does everyone is a duh. I'm quite proud of when I let it rip. I sort of feel like, because I sort of feel like it's something I made to eat. So then I'm like, ooh, what was it? Like then there's the kind of moment. And then I like to wait and have it come up in a moment when he asked me to do something like, do you think that, and I'm like, I don't know. Let me think about it. And then what do you think? Oh, yes or no?
She always does the pull my finger. I don't want to pull your finger.
Oh no!
Doing it. I'm like, how do you have 4 farts up there just for this game?
At like some point before the quarantine, we were trying to have a little more decorum, and we were like, we're going to close some bathroom doors.
No,
keep a little mystery. Now it's like now it's like all doors are open. Like he's shitting in front of me. Like it's just like there's no barrier.
But you know what? But can I tell you something? I totally agree, and it was like that. And then a few days ago, I started to get that feeling, and tell me if you guys have ever felt this before, where it's like you just have to pull it together for your relationship. Because if it goes to that place, all of a sudden you're going to leave this quarantine like, oh my God, there's so many things that I have done and you've done that just disgust me about myself. And I don't want to look at myself in the mirror anymore. And like you said, I was like, I feel It's gross. And I can't. So I feel like I need to pull it
Yeah, I
together,
agree. I
not
agree.
just for me,
I
but
agree.
also for
I
him
agree.
to
I agree.
maintain some decorum. Because if
Yeah.
not, I mean, truly, we're living in a really unsexy
Yeah.
moment. So it's like, I don't,
Have to pull out
I
Samantha.
don't
That's what
know. I
you
mean, so it hit me a few days ago where I was like, I asked him, I was like, can you take off your pajamas today? Can you
Yeah.
change? And he just looked at me really shocked. And he's like, I said, I know it's 3 o'clock. I mean, the day's over, but can you
Yeah.
change? And he did. And he came down with a button down shirt and a
So
sweater. And he just looked
cute.
so handsome. And I was like, oh, you look
Oh,
so cute. Like, I think we need to do these things for
do
each
these
other
things.
because if not, I mean, it's a rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, it's
know.
a rebel. I slapped on red lipstick today, and this is how low the standard is. He literally took like 3 takes and was like, "Is that you?" Like, that's all it takes. Throw a little lipstick
Yeah.
on. It's like
Is
it's
that
like a new
you?
person. Yeah. It's like,
I said to my husband, I was like, "You work out for me too, right?" And he's like, "No, I just don't think about it." And I'm like, "What?" I was like, "I exercise mainly for you. I don't exercise because I want to be attracted to my own body. I do it so you don't go, oh my God, I don't see 16
I
quarantine
totally
brownies in your
feel
ass right now. I do it for him so that he looks at something nice and round when he's in a certain position." He's like, "No, I don't even think about it." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." And he goes, then this was the nice thing. He said, "I would love you." This is what everyone's supposed to say. He goes, 20 pounds on you, I'd still think you're the most beautiful girl in the room. And I was like, you don't have to work out
aw,
for me.
you don't have to. I know. I told Eduardo that when this is over, I'm going to have a 6 pack.
Yeah.
oh
And he
yeah.
was like,
Uh-huh.
and I go, wait, what's the face? Like, you don't believe that I could do that? I could do that? He was like, it just means not eating. You only get a 6 pack from not eating. You don't get it from like exercising a lot.
Yeah.
And there's no way you're not going to eat during this quarantine.
Sean goes, "It's the only happiness I have." I was like,
It's all
speak for
I,
yourself.
I know.
He goes, "It's the
So
only
funny.
joy I have in my
so
life." I was
good.
like, okay, sure.
And it's like every carb. It's every carb. It's every sugar, every carb. It's like all the
I mean,
bats.
I'm trying to keep the sugar down or make stuff at
Okay.
home that are
What
fun
do
for
you
the kids, but keep it down
yeah.
only because and my immune system drops from
Just say,
that.
yeah,
So I'm
sugar's
just,
too bad
Yeah.
for your immune
so
system.
It
I
is.
don't, we don't, I'm trying to keep that as, under control, but you know,
Damn, it's hard when there's so much food around though. You just want to like go and snack
you
all day
do,
long.
you do. I know.
Oh,
Roxy, do
oh.
I
one more,
know.
and then I got to give my poor husband
Oh,
a break. I
yes.
feel
Let's
so
do
bad.
it. Never have I ever given my family, because we were, okay, so preface this. Tammin and I were talking about how like first week, we were like, oh my God, we're like the Barefoot Contessa, like opening up cookbooks, like trying new recipes. Then week 2, you go to your staples. And week 3, we're like, what the fuck are we going to feed
I
these
know.
people?
Canned
So,
goods.
yeah, can't go to. So never have I ever given my family canned soup for dinner during the quarantine.
Uh,
He's not like us,
no,
right?
no, 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 no. I
She's,
absolutely have. I
Okay, good.
yeah,
absolutely have.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
because
I
you're
mean,
just
because I
sick of
think
it at some point.
even the Pacific container foods, like that's still
Yes.
canned.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Totally.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't
It
home make
counts.
it. Really? No.
I
That
mean,
and that and like a grilled cheese and the
grilled
panini.
cheese. Oh my
Perfect.
Oh
God.
yes,
It was just
yes,
like a
yes.
tortilla and cheese. I was like, can we put a vegetable on there? And
Absolutely.
you're like,
Yeah.
Oh,
at this
Yeah.
easy.
point.
Absolutely. Like a little soup and on a rainy day as it's been, a little soup
Oh,
and a sandwich. It's perfect.
You're
perfect.
Yeah.
doing
Well,
well.
yeah. I mean, you're
We're
cooking
doing amazing.
357 meals a day. Yeah.
I know.
Oh my
I know,
God.
really. It's been, but on the other hand, too, it's
Oh,
nice to be able to cook and like I've been taking stock of what I have. Oftentimes I buy things and I end up
Yeah,
not
yeah,
cooking it and
yeah.
food
yeah.
goes to waste. I feel like now, like I'm using what we
I
have.
do too.
Right.
I'm sort of being creative and coming up with things and trying new things. And so that's fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you,
Get a little
Sasha.
creative.
Thank
Guys, thank
you.
you. This is
Thank
so
you.
nice to see your
I
faces and
know. It's like
connect.
outside
And
people. Outside people. Outside people. It's
I know.
like
I was like, should we be doing this interview with our masks on? Oh, we
Yeah,
don't have
you
to.
don't have
gloves.
to.
Okay,
No,
so
but
this.
I really adore you guys, and thank you for
Oh, love
continuing to
you.
just stay like busy and amazing, and kiss your kids and
Oh,
your hubbies, and let's just keep on talking and connecting and
right.
getting through this because I think that's the only thing that's going to help all of us. I really do. So thank you.
Thank you. And we will definitely check you out in Dangerous Lies on Netflix at the end of this month. Yes. So excited.
Well, thank you so much. And we are Women on Top Official on Instagram.
And Women on Top Podcast on Facebook.
And I love you, Roxy Soxy.
I love you too, Miss Tam Tam.
And we are Women on Top.